welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you, sticking along the same sort of food-based theme and looking at my 5 favourite healthy, vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, that kind of thing cookbooks. Just a bit of background info, I'm vegetarian and I have been for about 15 years now, so it seems like quite a normal way of life for me, but I know that a lot of people are trying to make a change in their diet, or they're trying to just be a little bit healthier in what they're eating, or make kind of more, I don't mean considerate food choices, but they're just trying to think a little bit more about what they eat. So I know that this has been helpful for me to recommend these sorts of books to a lot of my friends who are trying to make a change, but also it might be for you. So we'll start off with this one, which is great because it's currently very autumnal, it's very cold outside, and one of my favourite things to make, and it's really easy if you are trying to get more veg into your diet or trying to be a little bit healthier and eat less of the kind of fats and refined sort of carbohydrates, is soup. And one of my favourite soup brands are New Covent Garden. They make fantastic ready-made soups that you can get in most supermarkets, and there's some great offers on. But if you're trying to make things yourself a little bit more, and I really love doing that, I find it really comforting in the winter to kind of stand and stick a YouTube video on or put some music on and stir my soup for ages like a witch in Macbeth or something. Then this is really great. And it's not just got soups in, it has got lots of soups that they make as their brand, but also some quite different, quite quirky ideas. So there's things like mango soup, there's things like apricot and butternut squash soup, which is absolutely gorgeous, but there's also other things in there. So they've got risottos, and it's all that sort of slow cooked philosophy. But my favourite of the chapters is the one on beans. Oh, I love beans. That sounded really bizarre. And my favourite of the recipes is this one, Southwestern garbanzo beans. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's basically what I would call chickpeas, and it's a kind of really sweet, sticky, roasted version of chickpeas. They're roasted in orange and dates, and I don't use honey, but they're roasted in honey in this. I just tend to use either maple syrup or some sort of less refined sugary option. It's delicious. It's really perfect for a winter night, and I tend to have that on its own or with some roasted sweet potato or some squash or something, and then my husband loves it with sausage, so he'll have that alongside some sausage and says it's kind of perfect autumnal fare. So if you're into soups and that whole sort of stew and sticky and roasted and juicy vibe of things, then this is a great one to recommend. It was a present from my mum, so thank you very much, Mum. Love that. Right, moving on. I'm going to talk to you about this one, which is super healthy snacks and treats. And I actually saw this on Amelia Liana's YouTube channel, and it's by Jenna Zoe. I'll link it below. I'm really sorry, I don't know how you pronounce your name. But it's brilliant because it's all the things that you would want to have, you know, a cake or a treat, but actually it's ways to get around them. And although I'm maybe not being super health conscious in that I'm not bothered about it being low in calories or anything like that, I do have quite a lot of intolerances, so a lot of these don't have eggs in, which is perfect for me. And there are some gorgeous things. The nut and seed butters, I'm just going to apologise, I've clearly got bizarre leggings on underneath this top. I'm obsessed with nut butters. I think it's such a great way, if you don't eat a lot of meat, to get protein and also to get really good fats into your diet. Which is my favourite? Oh, maple and lemon pumpkin seed butter is amazing. Because it's just the tasty thing, but also it's great for people who are allergic to nuts and who can't normally have the nut butters that a lot of people can. So if you can't have peanut or almond, then it's great. And the other one that I love, look at these, basically like truffles, but they are cocoa almond freezer fudge pops, and it's just almond butter, ground flax seeds or linseeds, coconut oil, some sort of sweetener, so it says xylitol, but I tend to use dates or something like that, cocoa powder and vanilla extract, and then if you want to you can stick a bit of espresso powder in to make it a bit richer, and then you just blend them and stick them in the freezer, and they honestly taste like chocolate truffles. They are great, and also it makes you feel like you are treating your body like a temple and being really kind of healthy, when actually it's just a delicious chocolatey almondy treat. So I would really recommend that if you are someone that struggles with making healthy, considered choices when you are snacking. But it's just a nice book, and it's not too thick, which I quite like because I have a lot of cookery books and this isn't taking up too much space on that shelf. We'll go for another one that's not too thick now. This is the Honestly Healthy cookbook by Natasha Corritt and Vicky Edgson. Now this is a really well-known book in the whole kind of clean eating, alkaline way of eating. It's all become quite popular at the moment. I know I read Women's Health magazine, and she actually has her own column in Women's Health, and she's given recipes every month. She's big on Instagram. A lot of sort of celebrities seem to follow this way of eating, and it does make sense. If you are suffering with any sort of bodily issue that might be caused by inflammation, then an alkaline way of eating might be something to try. It's not necessarily going to be the cure for everything, but it might be something to give a go. I just think it's got some really tasty recipes in, so although it is probably quite healthy and good for you, I just use it for the fact that it's quite delicious. Some of my favourites, the front cover, these are the mini pizzas, and they are brilliant because they're made from the most delicious dough. It's got no gluten in, so it's made with flours that don't contain gluten, which just makes it, make you feel less bloated when you eat it. So to me that means I can eat twice as much, which probably isn't a great idea. But B, it makes a really thin, crispy dough, and that's the sort of pizza that I like to eat. It's also got some really kind of good ideas for things like curries and stews, and it's full of vegetables, which is obviously great if you don't eat meat. My other favourite from this, there's a recipe for quinoa and cranberry burgers, which are just amazing. They are the tastiest burgers. I love a veggie burger. I really do have them quite often, and these are great because they're just something a little bit different, and they're not your usual kind of spicy bean burger, spicy Mexican burger, that kind of thing. So yeah, I would wholeheartedly recommend this, and there's some gorgeous photography in there as well. Okay, I've saved my favourite 2 cookery books for last. These are the ones that I get most of my recipes from on kind of day-to-day basis. We'll go with this one first because I'd say it's my second favourite, so we're going to save the absolute best for last. It is the Hemsley book. Now this is really well known as well. It's been kind of making the rounds on things like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and it is beautiful. I feel like if I was going to kind of put how I would want a cookbook to look into practice, it would be this. The pictures are just stunning, and I love that there are pictures on most pages. So if you flick through, that's hard to say, you can see most pages do have these gorgeous pictures in, and they're so bright and colourful, it just makes you want to try all of the food. And it's coming from a philosophy of not necessarily not allowing yourself to have the things that you want, but just to make sure that everything that you're eating is coming from somewhere that you understand. So making sure that you are eating as fewer processed things as you can. Everything that you eat comes from somewhere that you know about. So you've made it all yourself. You don't know that there aren't any kind of sneaky ingredients lurking in there. And it's just full of delicious recipes. There is a vegetarian section, which is great for me, but there's also meat sections, which is good because my husband is a meat eater, so we can kind of use those as the basis, but then I can substitute stuff in. So put in, you know, mushroom or broccoli or cauliflower or aubergine or something that's going to kind of bulk it up a little bit for me. But there are just some fantastic recipes. My favourites are probably, there's a pancake recipe. Actually, you can probably see it in the front here. This one, we make this when we are having a very kind of naughty, well, not naughty because it's healthy, isn't it? But we don't normally have that much time for breakfast. So if we're having a weekend breakfast, something like that, and it's blueberry pancakes with a mango and cashew cream. So I'll have that, and he'll have, you know, actual cream or clotted cream or something like that. And they're gorgeous because they feel really indulgent, and it feels like because you spent so long preparing them, it's something quite luxurious. My other favourite thing from this is a recipe called Pablo's Chicken, and it's based on, I won't say the brand, but a very famous brand of fried chicken that's available here. And it's something that you can't really get that many substitutes for if you don't eat meat. And I don't tend to eat like meat-based substitutes either because they tend to have egg in, which I'm allergic to. So we don't really have it that much anymore, and it is something that I actually weirdly miss, well I do anyway. So this is great because instead of being the chicken being coated in the breadcrumb mixture and fried, it's actually coated in a mixture in here of ground almonds, but when we do it with loads of different seeds, so sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, all the other seeds that I've forgotten at the moment, but we just grind those up with loads of kind of Cajun-y spices and a bit of salt and a bit of pepper, and then we roll, so either chicken, or I tend to have it with tofu or courgette or cauliflower. I've found are the vegetables that work best. Coat it in a sweet chilli sauce that we've made, and then roll it in the seedy mixture, and then just stick it in the oven for about 15 minutes, and it is just the tastiest thing in the world. So big thank you to these two. Also, I'd just like to look through the pictures, and I like to look at the pictures of them. They just look so kind of healthy, and their fashion's brilliant. I really like the way that they put things together and their style, and also they're just gorgeous. I think one of them's a model. If she's not, she blooming should be. So well done to you two. Oh, look at them, living the dream. Right, last one. This is my absolute favourite book and, well, cookbook. And I cook so many things from here, and if ever I'm stuck, I know that this is something that I can just flick open, and whatever page it lands on will be something that I'll enjoy cooking. It is Diane Henry, and it's called A Change of Appetite, and its little tagline is where healthy meets delicious. It's not a very kind of holier than thou sort of look at healthy eating. It's just Diane Henry, who is a food writer, has decided, you know what, I'm at a point in my life where I need to start looking after myself a little bit more. Yes, I love food, and I'm not going to stop eating the things I like, but I'm going to try and make a few changes to make them a little bit better for me, and to hopefully kind of increase how I feel in myself, make myself feel better. So that's the sort of philosophy that it's come from, and I think you can tell from the way this is written that she's a food writer. Yes, a lot of the other books are written really well, and they're photographed really well, but this has got so much personality in the way it's written. You can almost hear her voice as she's saying it, and it makes you feel like you know her a little bit as a person, and the kind of reasons behind the choices that she's making. So I really like just sitting and reading it, but also the photography. This is right up my street. If you look at the front cover image, it's all about the food. It's very crisp, it's colourful, it's quite simple, and I really like that. The other thing that I love about this is that it's split into seasons, and I'm somebody who likes to eat quite differently throughout the year. So in summer I tend to eat a lot of like salads and a lot of fruit and that sort of thing, whereas once it hits autumn, I'm like, right, I'm cozy, I want my bedding on, I want my blanket, I want my cup of tea, and I want things like stews and tagines and curries and things that are going to be really warming for me when I get in from work. So what I have been doing the last few nights is flicking to the section that says autumn, and then just going through and thinking, right, eating in autumn, roast tomatoes and lentils, Eastern broth, done, done, done. And I'll just cook whatever I see from here. And I've not had anything from here that hasn't been absolutely delicious yet. They're very flavourful. There's a lot that's kind of inspired by either Asian or Middle Eastern cuisines, because I think they tend to use a lot of grains and a lot more vegetables. Yes, there is meat in this book, but again, I just substitute it with something else, and then I'll maybe make meat for my husband if he wants it. I also love the fact that it gives you ideas for menus and ways to put menus together. So we tend to have people around a lot of the time for food, or I'll cook, or we'll have our friends around and things, and sometimes putting the actual ideas for the menu together, it takes more time and is more difficult than making it, which is ridiculous, and that just takes a lot of the hassle out. You know that the three things that you've chosen for your starter, main and dessert will go together. You won't be having something that's really big and filling for your starter and then something that's really big and filling for your main. It's really well thought out, so it takes that sort of stress away from you, and it's really, really brilliant. So anyway, I best stop talking. It's been 14 minutes, all about my favourite kind of cookbooks, which is ridiculous. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Please do leave me some recommendations. I love finding new kind of healthy or vegetarian or vegan or whatever sort of books that you could recommend. One that I've taken back to the library, but I feel like I have to give a bit of a shout out to, because I thought it was such a fantastic book, was called Peas and Parsnips. If you can find it, it's brilliant. It's a vegan cookbook, and every recipe in there I wanted to make. So if you can search that one out, it's definitely recommended. So please leave recommendations below. Also, I've just got really into kind of cooking blogs and that sort of thing. I've an Instagram account. If you want to leave me either yours or one that you follow or you think that I will like, please leave it below, and I'm looking forward to reading all your comments. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.